Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Morgan and I am a 6th grade math and science teacher, and I also love all things Disney. And on today's live, we have my special guest, our Paradise Falls here.
Hey everybody!
Here, I will make you guys big. Wait, how do I do this? Hold on. Solo layout. There you go. Go ahead.
Everybody,
tell the people who you are. Go ahead. Tell everyone who you are. Go ahead.
We are Our Paradise Falls, and we are a South Florida family of 3. And what we do on our channel is we vlog our Disney vacations. We vlog our adventures to, museums. We go to different zoos, aquariums. We go a lot to our Disney character warehouse. That's in Sunrise, Florida. Tomorrow, we actually have an exciting video. We partnered with another channel, and Connor met a friend from our March visit. Our March visit. He made a Disney pen pal, and Connor did a mystery box with her. So it's going to be on our YouTube tomorrow at 11 a.m. A kids edition mystery box with Connor and Emma from Heartland Family Adventures. So that's a little bit of what we do and what we have coming up.
Awesome. That's so awesome. I can't wait to watch that. Make sure you guys all go watch and subscribe to their channel if you're watching this on the replay, or if you're here right now. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel. They are linked down below in the description, so go subscribe to them. So today's episode, we are talking about Monsters at Work, episode number 3, and it is called The Damaged Room. But first of all, I know you guys weren't on last week for the premiere. So what do you guys think? What did you guys think of the first 2 episodes? Meet Miffed and what was the first one called? And Welcome to Monsters, Inc.
What'd you think of the first 2 episodes, buddy?
The first 2 episodes were really funny.
You thought they were funny?
What were some of your favorite parts of the new first 2 episodes? Do you remember?
My favorite part,
Don't get shy. It's okay.
I do not remember.
Who's your favorite new character? Who's your favorite character in the series so far?
The new monster, Tyler.
Tyler, awesome. He's such an awesome monster. What did you guys think of as parents, since you guys were probably watched the original Monsters when it first came out?
Yes. It kind of plays off of the original Monsters. It does play off of the original. We're not talking about this episode, the recent one. I'll tell that later. But I think it does. It plays off a lot of the movies, and I liked it. I thought it was cute and funny, and it kept me entertained. So that's always good.
Yeah, I thought that too. I think it does play a lot, especially this episode that we're going to talk about. I think it has a lot of references back to the original, which made me super excited for this episode. So let's just go ahead and dive into it. So first, we start off basically right where we left off from the last episode, where Tyler is in Myth now. The little Winchester banana bread character has left and become a jokester, and we start off with a monster that's really similar to Ajana Claire. Welcome.
Hi.
Hey, Angela Claire.
So we start off with a monster that kind of reminds me of the same monster that started the whole Monsters Inc. back in the original movie.
Waternoose?
Where not Waternoose.
No. The one that he falls on the ball
he
and
goes
he creates the
the
laughter.
monster, and then he falls on
I remember now. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he falls on the jacks and the ball, and then it was a mistake, and I love how now it's supposed to be purposeful. Right. I thought that was a really cute tie-in, but he makes a big mistake. Connor, do you remember what mistake he made?
He he had like a cold or something, and he sneezed and he burnt off the wall.
He did. He burned off the wall, and there's a giant hole in this little girl's wall, and that's kind of where the whole premise, the whole plot of this episode kind of takes place for those of you guys that haven't watched it yet. But if you haven't watched, please pause this and go watch it right now.
But then come back.
Yes. So, what did you guys think of that scene? I thought it was hysterical.
Go ahead.
So yeah, now that I'm remembering the scene from the original's Monsters Inc. Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of the show has kind of like the same beats. Some of the characters too have very similar characteristics to the original Monsters Inc. characters, like the new ones, like they're introducing. But yeah, I honestly, like, at first I thought it was like snot or something. I didn't realize it was acid. And then I'm like, after watching that scene, I'm like, well, I'm glad he didn't shoot the acid on the baby.
Yes, I know. That's what I was scared of. I was like, oh no, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I thought he was going to sneeze so loud that he woke up the parents. I never expected him to put a hole right in the wall of the house. But what I found interesting is that the baby looks a lot like a certain character from the original. So I thought it was going to be Boo, but they had said before that Boo was not going to appear in the series whatsoever. So I'm hoping, and I don't know if you guys think this, but I am hoping that when they end this season, at least, it ends with Mike putting together the door.
But Mike already put the door together in the original's Monsters.
Yeah, but this is between that time. So I thought this was going to be right after that time.
Oh.
This is literally between that time. It's like the day after they took Waterdeuse away and they have turned over the
Laugh Factory.
the company to Mike and Sully. So this is that in between, that awkward in between time when they're shifting everything, and that's why the lights keep flickering on and off. And
Gotcha.
Stuff like that. Because
Okay.
it's not solidified yet.
So that time period then in the original movie, they don't say it, but they actually go forward a little bit in time then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's supposed to be like 6 months to a year.
Because when they go through the door in the original movie, when she says Kitty, she sounds a lot older than a little girl.
Yeah, and Mike says it takes him a really long time to put that door together. So I'm wondering if maybe when the series ends, like whenever they decide to end the series, it'll end like that. But I'm really hoping that they end the season with that and not the series, so that I can see Boo. I just want to see Boo.
Or maybe time passes differently in the monster universe than it does in like our world too. They've never said that, but maybe.
Yeah. Well, what I noticed from this episode is that when they go into, and I guess I should have noticed this before, but it's day when they are going into, it's day in the monster world when they are going in at night to kids' bedrooms. So time definitely has to pass differently because they go all over like the world. And
Right.
it's all day to them.
Right.
So, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. So, this monster burns a hole in the wall, and this is a big no-no because parents cannot know that monsters exist and monsters are there. So, what comes next? Well, Myth comes next, and we get some more of Tyler, and who is he partnered with for this task? But, of course, his best college buddy, Val.
Who he doesn't recognize as his best college buddy.
Yes, he does not recognize her. He barely remembers. And all during the episode, we learn about Tyler and Val's relationship and really how they met and what Tyler really thinks of how they met. So, what do you guys think of Val to begin with?
She doesn't stop talking. And
Adonka loves Val.
Yeah, her legs confuse me. Like the way her body is, like, I don't know, it's kind of weird.
It's like that other character from Monsters University, the purple one.
Yeah.
That's always in the U shape. She's like that, but upside down.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where they got the Monsters U mascot from, like her species of monster.
I think so. Yes, Ajana Claire. She's sweet and just wants love. She does. I'm not going to lie. I really found her annoying in this episode. Like the whole time. I was like, girl, he does not remember you. He doesn't remember you. Move on with your life.
She was looking for attention.
Maybe that's like going to be like a plot twist, or like maybe that's going to be like something that they introduce of why she like keeps talking back like I remember you, but he doesn't remember her. Like maybe they're going to like trying to set up like a plot device with that.
Yeah, well, we find that out later in the episode how this affects her and why she clings to him so much. But
Connor, what do you think of Val?
yeah, what do you think of Val?
Super funny that never stops talking to Tyler,
And we'll go with that.
And we'll go with that. Do you think you would want a friend like Val, Tyler? Or Connor? Oh my gosh, I just called him Tyler. I'm getting everything mixed up.
You think you'd want a friend like Val? Somebody that talks nonstop?
They always talk and they never stop.
That's kind of like Connor, to be honest. He doesn't stop talking.
Just when he gets comfortable. He's a shy bug right now.
Yeah.
But when he becomes comfortable, Connor, then he'll never stop.
So Jean Claire says they address it in the episode. They do address it in the episode, but I wonder why she feels the need to constantly bring up the past. That's what I want to know, because they kind of touch on it a little bit. Because there's kind of two parallel storylines that run through this episode. You have Mike and Sully that are doing one thing, and then you have Val and Tyler trying to fix the room, and they're kind of like two parallel stories happening at the same time, but two completely different things are happening, which is kind of like a comedy, like any in-person comedy that I've ever seen kind of does the same thing, I feel like. So I kind of like that they're not just playing it as a cartoon, like this happens, then this happens, then this, and they kind of bounce back and forth between them. But basically, they have to go in and try to patch this up. However, the baby, Tyler, kind of makes the baby cry a lot because he's a scary monster. And so they decide they have to take the baby out. And who decides to take care of the baby? Everyone, I thought it was going to be Sully. And he offered, but Mike comes in and says, no. You got too attached to Boo. I'm going to take care of this baby because I am immune to cuteness. So what did you guys think of Mike becoming the parent?
I think it was a nice twist, because everyone watching the show is probably going to be like, all right, this is going to be Sully's role this episode. He's going to end up taking this new baby because of his relationship with Boo, and then they go ahead and put Mike in that role. So I think it was a nice twist to actually give Mike maybe a little bit more something to do. And yeah.
Well, he definitely takes parenting a little serious.
He does. He puts her in a bucket. First parenting decision is to put the baby in a bucket. And then they decide what better way to spend the day with a baby than to go to a baseball game.
It's actually not a bad place, because, most time, well, besides in this Monsters game, most baseball games are pretty quiet. So it's really not a bad place to take a baby. But here's a good question for everybody, or this might be like pull on some strings. Who do you think is a better parent, Mike or Sully?
Ooh. I don't know. Mike lost Boo quite a lot.
But he fed her Cheerios and not a hot dog.
That's true. A rat dog. It wasn't
a rat
a
dog,
hot dog.
whatever.
It was a rat dog. God only knows what was in that thing.
And he fed it to her while it was spoiled. He said it,
He said it smelled funny.
Yeah, they're supposed to eat it when it's bad, but he said it towards he's like, I think my rat dog's starting to get natural. Remember,
yeah,
it's starting to become like well done or something, like where you could eat it, not raw.
Yeah, I loved the baseball scene. I don't know about you guys, but I loved it. I really love that we were getting another view of Metropolis, which is what I want so bad out of this series, is to learn more about the monster world that they live in, not just see Monsters Incorporated, because I feel like we've seen a lot of Monsters Incorporated. I feel like if I was put in Monsters Incorporated, I could navigate it pretty easily. But thank you, Boo, for doing that for me. But I thought Mike as a parent was adorable. And I love how not even like 10 minutes after having the baby, he's already named it. The baby has a name. It's called Snore, because that's so original. And I loved that we got to see another thing that Metropolis has to offer. And I'm really hoping that as the series goes on, we get more and more of Metropolis and we get to see how monsters actually live, because this was so interesting to me. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, there was a couple not play on words, but definitely some things at the baseball game that Jeff and I both picked up on.
The callbacks and like the references to our world. So, instead of the Red Sox, it was the Red Sharks.
Yes.
The Green Monster.
The Green Monster is the nickname for the Red Sox. Their mascot is the Green Monster. That's the big monster in the outfield that catches the baseball.
Yeah.
It's the Green
I'm not
Monster.
A baseball fan. These all went right over my head.
Well, Brittany's seen what's that baseball movie you like with Drew
Fever
Barrymore?
Pitch.
She's seen Fever Pitch way too many times. God, and the announcer says something too. I don't remember the callback, but the announcer says something to it. I'd have to go back and watch again. But there was a lot of like references, and when we get to the part back inside the in Snore's room, there's a lot of like little Easter egg stuff inside her room as well.
Yes, and I'm gonna get to the big Easter egg. I don't know about all the small ones, but there were like 2 big ones, but I didn't really consider the first one an Easter egg, but the second one definitely. But yeah, I loved it. You know what it really reminded me of, the entire baseball scene? It reminded me of a scene from Roseanne.
I've never seen Roseanne.
I've seen it like a few episodes here and there, but basically it's like because the dad on Roseanne voices Sully.
Right.
And so I feel like he kind of had a play in that, where they go back and forth. The dad's like never really sure. He's always making the wrong mistake. And then Roseanne kind of goes back at him and is like, why don't we ever do this? Why don't we ever do that? We need to be together more and whatever. And it was like they were like a bickering married old couple, and I just loved it. And I felt kind of bad for Celia, because I don't think she'll ever be able to replace Sully in that role.
I thought it was definitely like a marriage thing too, though, because, it's, what are we having for dinner? Well, I don't know. I thought we were just going to order out. No, we need to have more home cooked meals. I mean, this is our argument almost every single night. Well, what's for dinner? I don't know. What are you craving? I don't know. It goes back and forth, and I'm sure everybody else has those, arguments as well. But it was definitely interesting to see the human world and alien world, or monster world. Alien. I've got aliens in my mind with his pictures. Monster world, and comparing the two.
Yeah, I just love all the human references they make, but how literal they take some of the human references. Like from the first episode, how they were saying, oh, they could bust a gut, or they could laugh until they die, laugh to death, or something like that. So you have to be careful how much you make them laugh. I just love all those little references that they make. But so they go to the baseball game, and it doesn't really go as planned. Snore kind of poops her pants and needs to be changed like every baby does. And Mike decides to pick a fight with this big monster who is of the opposing team.
The Red Sharks fan.
Yes, the Red Sharks fan. And he's like about 4 times as big as Mike. And what happens when that happens? But some fly balls from Mike's favorite baseball player hit the guy in the head, knock him out, and Mike is able to walk away with a fly ball, a home run fly ball from the game as his souvenir. And he's a huge fan of this team, so this is like probably one of his most prized possessions. Would you guys say that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And remember that for later. Now we're going to talk about what's going on back at Monsters Incorporated while all of this is happening. So we are with Tyler and Val, and they are fixing the wall, but they have to do it very quietly because they are almost caught by the parents. So they decide to fix the hole in the wall through the booms and the thunder, as Val continues to tell Tyler all about her their college experience that he does not remember at all. Do you guys ever feel bad for Val? I felt terrible for her at this point because I was like, just leave him alone. Like, he does not remember anything you are saying and does not care.
Feeling bad for her or feeling bad for Tyler because she just kept talking?
I kind of feel bad for Val because I'm like, she just wants friends.
Yeah, but I mean, they're trying to get the work done at the same time, and all he wants to do is just get the work done. Can you stop playing with the toys? Jesus.
Yeah. Did it scare you when Duncan came in? Because I'm not gonna lie, I screamed when that happened. It did actually scare me.
No, it didn't scare me, but I was more like, oh, he's kind of like Randall.
Yes.
In a sense. I mean, just sitting there, and the employee that thinks he can just do absolutely nothing and watch everybody. Normal human world.
Yeah. Well, he did.
The
he
supervisor.
Was then removed. He was assigned to this project, but then he was removed when he said he wouldn't work with Tyler. And then he showed up anyway to see how well Tyler actually does, which I found interesting. And then as they're trying to prepare everything, Tyler is just not quiet. He cannot be quiet. And I fully thought when he was messing with the tape that the parents were just going to come and walk in.
He kind of, he's big, he's bulky, he's kind of like Sully, he's loud, he's frumpy, he's not supposed to be quiet. I mean, big monsters are not supposed to be quiet. So,
yeah.
Big monsters, be quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like a ninja.
I just feel like he's definitely, it definitely just reinforces that he is a scary monster. He's not a jokester.
Right.
And I think it's going to be really interesting if he ever becomes a jokester, how he changes into that.
I think it's going to be a good character arc for him because he's already kind of like Sully, because Sully's portrayed as a scary monster, but he has a real emotional side to him where he could be a funny monster. So I think that's going to be pretty much Tyler. His whole life he wanted to be a scare, and now he has to be a jokester. So he has to come to terms with him, within himself, of how can I change to be this. So I think towards the end of the season, where I'm hoping that everyone's portraying him to be this certain character, and he's going to prove everybody wrong and become a good jokester.
Yeah. I'm hoping that he does, and I hope we get a little bit more of Mike's comedy class than we have so far, because I feel like we didn't get any this episode except in the little extended scene that we'll get to later. But I really love the jokester class, and I really want to see Mike as an actual teacher, not hyped up on caffeine like we did in the last episode.
It makes me miss the laugh floor.
I know.
Every time we walk past it, I get sad.
Oh, but it kind of, I said this in the live last week, the second episode kind of brought it all together to the laugh floor, the laugh floor's creation, and I really loved that. It tied in the park, it tied in the movies. I was just, I'm living for this episode too, because I also got to see Rose's favorite character so far. That's Roz's sister. Rose. So basically, while they're fixing everything, Tyler gets angry because Val won't let him go to lunch, which is understandable. I was kind of shocked that the one monster just left.
He's like, peace out.
The supervisor, yeah.
Yeah, she's just like, bye, I'm going to lunch.
But usually,
really
isn't that how the...
But also... that, okay, go ahead.
Isn't that how his supervisor usually is? He's like, they're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go, talk on the phone. You guys do the work. See you later.
Yeah.
Did anybody catch a little bit of the inappropriateness of her comments?
Yes, I caught it.
It was a little inappropriate. I was like, a little dark humor there.
Yes.
Adult humor.
Yes, it's definitely.
You catch it?
especially for the adults, I feel. And they've had a lot of innuendos like that in the first 2 episodes too. So I love her. I want more of her.
She said she had a date with something.
Yeah,
I don't remember what it was.
A sandwich.
But then she said, and it's not to eat. Or something along that line.
No, she was like, he's not to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just gonna go meet her boyfriend.
Okay, but the way she said it was an innuendo.
No,
of
you have just a dirty mind. She didn't say it like that. She's just gonna go meet her
she
boyfriend.
did. Morgan thought it was inappropriate.
You guys are just taking it way out of context.
If you're watching, if you caught the inappropriateness, let us know in the comments.
Yes, let me know in the comments. Do you think it was too inappropriate for a kids show? Like,
or
what
are
do you
these
guys
girls'
think?
minds, are they just thinking like outside the box and it was nothing serious? If you guys agree with me, let me know.
All right. But anyway, Tyler gets frustrated because he can't go to his comedy class, and basically he just wanted to get away from Val. So what does he do? This I didn't like, because I feel like I see this way too much with kids where they just kick something or they throw something. And since this is a kid's show, I was like, Disney, you should have done something else. But he kicks the soccer ball out of anger. And what does it do?
Turns off the door.
Malfunctions the door.
Turns off the door. And so they're now stuck in the human world with Duncan, Val, and Tyler. And what do the parents do? They try to come in because he makes way too much noise. And he falls.
I mean, yeah, too much noise, but they're opening the door, shut the door, open the door, shut the door, open the door, shut the door. I mean, if we were parents and heard Connor's door opening, shut, we would have been like, what's going on? Like,
When we get to a certain...
Because Snore is a baby and can't open and shut the door.
So when the parents finally come in the room and then the baby starts talking, not only is it a non-female voice.
It's a boy. It's Duncan dressed as the baby, who is 3 times the size of Snore.
Correct. And starts talking in an obnoxiously like adult voice. And they're like, oh, our kid's going to be a genius.
Our kid's a genius. They can talk in full sentences all of a sudden.
I have to go call my
I told
mother.
you that co-sleeping would work.
I feel bad for that real baby for having those kind of parents. I really feel bad for her.
I was like, you guys are such idiots. And she wasn't even wrapped in like a blanket or anything when they put her to bed.
No.
I would be like, what the hell? Like, what?
I would have
blanket
ran
come
out of the
from?
room.
What?
I would have been like, call 911 quick.
Yeah. But I think Duncan gets very lucky that they don't just rip that blanket right off. But then
Right.
that would ruin the purpose of the show. I
Or
can't
like,
think too much into that.
rocker, or,
Yeah.
Make sure the
But-
blanket's not covering her face, that she's breathing.
Yeah. Well, they've co-slept with her for a year, so she's at least 1 year old. So maybe we're past the worrying about if they're breathing stage. I'm not a parent, so I wouldn't know. But
that ever stops.
What?
Worrying if they're breathing.
Oh, yeah, no, I always ran in the room. I'm like, oh my God, I don't hear him. Gotta run in the room and check.
the baby sounded, Sonic Clay's like, the baby sounded like a man.
It was a man.
It was a man. It was Duncan. That was probably one of the funniest parts for me. I just died laughing throughout that whole thing. But basically, as they're stuck in this room after the parents leave, oblivious of what's happening, they finally Val reveals why Tyler kind of gets just fed up and is like, why do you care so much about all this stuff? And she finally says it's because no one ever noticed her at Monsters University, and he was the first person to ever say anything to her, and that she was basically just lonely, and he was her only, from what it sounds like, her only friend that she had there. And it makes me wonder if that's why she quit Monsters University, because in the first episode we find out that she left Monsters University after her first year. She didn't finish or anything, and she said it just wasn't the place for her. But I wonder if that's because she had no friends. I wonder if that's why. So Tyler obviously feels really bad about this, And then right as that happens, who comes back but the supervisor to save the day?
I was going to say, I think that plays into the human role as well. Like, first kids going in their first year of college and, if they go away, they don't know anybody or, I think it plays a lot.
I have a dog here that I'm not used to having. So if you hear growling.
I was going to say, I'm like, I hear jingling, but I wasn't sure.
Okay.
I think it plays into like the human role as well. Human world with kids being depressed and not having friends.
I could kind of relate to that because when I went to school in North Carolina, and obviously we're from Florida. So it was like a big, like shocking experience for me to go to a school in another state, not knowing anybody and not having like any of my friends. So I could definitely relate to that of somebody, feeling maybe alone because they're not making the connections that they thought they were going to make while at school, and why somebody would be turned off from not wanting to attend a school where they feel like an outcast.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a lot of people. I know I kind of definitely felt that way when I went away to college. I went to a school in Pennsylvania. I was from Jersey, and now I live in Maryland, and now I'm not about to not live in Maryland. So I just constantly feel that feeling of fear that no one's going to like you and you're not going to have any friends. But I just wonder if like what's going to happen in the future with that. If obviously they worked it out and they said, well, now we get to make Tyler did remember her. He did remember meeting her. He doesn't remember all these other things and stories that she says, but he remembers meeting her, and they kind of make up over that. And they say, now we get to be co-work friends instead of college friends.
Do you
that
think
had
that
one class together.
Do you think that they were maybe just friends like in passing, and she took it as like, oh, he's like my real friend, and maybe she's like imagining that they did all these things together, but he just maybe saw her in passing and said hi, or but
yeah, I definitely think that. I think they like met in their college class, and she had no one, so she really attached onto him. And when she saw him again, because obviously he was like the #1 scarer at Monsters U in his time. He was really well known. So I think she was just like, oh, now I'm friends with him. I work with him. I know him. Like trying to attach onto him and things like that. So I just like, I think that is what happened. I think she's like kind of remembering all these things, whether they're true or not. They probably happened. Whether they happened with him or not, though, is another question. Because he does say, he's like, I don't think that happened. I don't remember that. I wasn't in that class. You're muted. Oh, okay. So, as it goes on, Mike starts to put, the final thing is Mike starts to put Snore back, and they have teased throughout the whole episode, hey, Mike, sing to her, sing to her, sing to her, sing to her. And finally, Mike decides to sing to her, and he sings her a song basically about how much he has fallen in love with her and how much he is attracted to her cuteness. And I kind of liked it because, first of all, Sully says, let's put that thing back where it came. Let's put her back where it came from, which is what Mike sang to Boo in the original. So I kind of thought of it. I was like, if they ever decide to make the musical, put that thing back where it came from, or so help me, I wonder if this would be a song in it. What did you guys think of the final song that Mike sings to Snore?
I thought it was adorable. I mean, it really, and like you just said, like it pulled back from, the movie, and yeah. It was nice. It was sweet. It was cute. I loved it. It was nice.
For me, it was kind of obvious after Mike saying that, I'm not gonna be like become like affected by this baby's cuteness. I knew by the end of the episode, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna become really attached to this kid and have it very. It's gonna be very hard for him to let her go.
What?
You saw the picture at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's talk about some of the Easter eggs. So we first get the princess, the kind of like Disney castle-esque princess that's right above her crib.
Did you see Stitch on
Wait.
Oh, what?
Oh.
Yeah, Stitch is on the dresser.
Girl Stitch.
Oh, Angel.
Yes.
Oh, I missed that one.
It was pretty obvious too.
Because Brittany pointed it out, and she's like, "Oh, look, it's Stitch." And I'm like,
I
"Oh,
couldn't
yeah,
think
it
of
is."
the girl Stitch. I couldn't think of
Stitch.
her name.
Her name. Thank you, Emily. She says she loves my ears. But yeah, I missed that one, but I did see the really obvious one, and I feel like I just don't look enough. But the really obvious one of Mickey and his tricolors, and then on the kind of like musical teething ring.
Yeah, like the toy, the baby toy.
Yeah, whatever it was supposed to be. And then also at the end, I meant to mention this. Mike gives Snore the baseball that he caught, which I thought was just like, you really do, like, you love her because you just gave her your prized possession.
I thought Snore's costume was maybe a little, I wouldn't say the same as Boo's, but there was some like very similar. So like Boo's eyes were like I don't know remember if they were like cups or something. They were some kind of like, thing. But Snore's eye was a paper plate with like some writing on it. Like I'm like that's awesome.
Yeah, I like that too. That was like a good homage. A lot of things are they really are playing off of the original and putting little things in there, which I love. That's what I love finding the most. I'm not even looking for the Easter eggs as much. I'm mainly looking for where are they making references to the original movie.
Well, speaking of Easter eggs, Connor drew a little Easter egg for everybody. You want to show it really quick?
Here, let me make you big, Connor.
Flip it.
Oh my gosh, yes, he drew such an awesome Stitch. And Connor, did you trace that?
No.
No, you drew it freehand? That's really good. That's pretty good. That looks like I know that's Stitch. It's not like some like it was bad or anything. I love it. I think that is so good. You could be an Imagineer one day.
I drew a Stitch one time on a live stream, and mine was terrible. That is like, I don't know, who's a famous painter?
Picasso.
Yeah, that's like Picasso level work. Mine was absolutely terrible. Like, it was a couple circles and two eyes. Like, it was terrible. And some triangles.
What?
So that's kind of, at the very end. So that's kind of like the episode. It kind of ends with them putting him back and putting Snore back, and them and Tyler and Val making up. And then we finally, I don't know if you guys caught it, but we got a name for the little pet thing that Duncan has. Did you guys catch it?
No.
It's Roto. So we got a name for him. His name's now Roto. And Val said that she knows where their boss hides his little snacks, and it's under Roto's cage.
Oh.
So
I must have missed that.
It's like at the very end, right before the comedy class starts.
Got it.
Yeah. So then they go into the comedy class, which I think this is going to become a regular thing in the episodes. They didn't have one in the very first episode, but they've had one ever since. So I think this is going to become a common thing, and they are studying the whoopee cushion. So what did you guys think of this final scene?
Connor loved this part. Come here, Connor. He absolutely loved this part. He was giggling and he was giggling in it the entire time. So go ahead, Connor. What did you think of the whoopee cushion scene?
It was funny. It sounded like you.
Thanks, buddy.
You didn't think you were going to get called out like that.
It's a good thing this isn't live or anything.
Only like one person's watching. It's fine.
Oh, that was great. Good job.
I thought it was really funny. Again, it's like that really dry humor where they are taking things so seriously. and I love that about them. And then he's like, now wait for the magic.
Still wait.
Any minute now. Any minute now. And then he goes to read the instructions, and he reads the last instruction without saying it and sits on it. And then the guy, I love the guy. He's like, you killed it! You killed it! You killed it! I was dying after that. I was just like, oh my gosh. Because I knew he had to sit on it at some point. I knew it was coming, but I didn't expect that reaction. I expected them all to start laughing. And the fact that they didn't, I was like, oh my God. Like, I was just like, it was just like my face, like that face palm emoji. I was just,
Yep.
And then I don't know if you guys finished all the way through the credits, but I just let the credits run because I hate when it says you still have like a minute left or whatever. But after the credits, there was actually a little extra bit, not a scene, but like a saying. And it was Bob Uecker signing off. And that is I looked it up because I was like, this has to be someone. And it was the announcer from the baseball game in the episode. But he is actually an announcer for, I think, the Milwaukee team, the Milwaukee baseball team, whatever they are. And he's really famous. He's been with that team for over like 60 years or something like that, most of the time as an announcer. And he actually was the only announcer to ever get part of the playoff potluck from the team, from any playoff baseball team, because they said that he brought them there. And it was then, this was 2 years ago, this was in 2019, it was from that he actually went to go film Monsters University as that was happening, as they were in the playoffs, and he got to travel with them, which was really rare for a team announcer to actually travel with the team when they're not home in the playoffs.
Maybe that's where I got the reference from, because the announcer said something, and I knew it had something to do with like a famous announcer, but I didn't realize it was the announcer from the Milwaukee team. God, what is their name? It's like the Brewer.
No, is it Brewers?
Brewers. I think the Milwaukee Brewers. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said,
Comment section. Don't kill me on that if you're a Milwaukee fan. I know the Bucks are in the finals right now.
I don't know anything about baseball. Football, I got it all day, but baseball, no, I don't at all.
I was right. Woo-hoo.
Yeah,
The Brewers.
Yeah, but yeah, that I just thought that was really cool that they pulled like someone in like that wouldn't normally, like, a lot of people wouldn't know about, especially Disney fans don't really know. I feel like wouldn't know about him unless you're a big baseball fan. So I wonder if they're gonna do more of that as the series goes on. If they'll pull in like some more guest stars for the series. But it's crazy to me that it was filmed 2 years ago already. Because of COVID, it got pushed back. And I keep forgetting that. So anytime I go to look up stuff, it's like from 2019. I'm like, what? So
that's crazy though, with an animation film, that they didn't release it earlier than just like last year. Because I mean, I get the live action stuff that they had to, keep everyone socially distanced and everything, like on sets and stuff. But I'm shocked that they weren't able to just set up like maybe a recording studio and have everybody come in. But in 2019, you would think, well, I guess maybe if everything was closed, the animators weren't able to work and things like that.
And I don't think you can do that kind of stuff from home. Like,
yeah, I don't know why they delayed it. I feel like it was just delayed because they wanted other things to be the priority if they had to like prioritize certain projects. But also, I think it makes so much more sense for it to come out this year because it's the 20th anniversary of Monsters, Inc.
And maybe that's why
they delayed it.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought my overall thoughts of this episode was that it was great. I really love seeing Monstropolis, more of Monstropolis, and I hope we get more of that as it goes on. Like maybe a shopping video of like them going down like maybe like a Fifth Avenue kind of thing, and we get to see all these shops or all these monsters, or them just going to the grocery store. I think would be so interesting. I don't know.
Or like even like a like a traveling scene of them like maybe taking a car trip through the city, or maybe like outside the city to see like what what the rural areas look like, or maybe like a plane flying over something just to see it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get more of the suburbs. I know that because we are going to meet more Tyler's parents later on in the series. So I'm really excited. We already met his mom kind of, but we're going to meet his dad later on coming up soon. I've read that somewhere, and we meet them in their house.
How long is the season?
This season is 10 episodes.
Oh, okay.
So we are on episode number 3. So we will be shortly halfway through the season, which is really exciting. But I've heard nothing but I've heard that a lot of people love it. The critics love it. So I'm hoping maybe it'll get a season 2, but we have to see how the series keeps going. So what do you guys think is going to happen with the series in the future? What do you think they're going to do? Hi, Tammy.
I think I kind of touched on my envision of Tyler's arc of him going through that like change of going from a scarer to a jokester and pretty much having to find himself now or change his like characteristics of wanting to do one thing in life and now having to quickly change into it because pretty much the world has changed, so now he has to change as a person. So I'm hoping that that's what happens for him in this season.
I don't know what to expect. I mean, we've gotten kind of a mix between the 3 episodes, so I'm curious to see where it is going to take us. Is it going to take us more of the city? Are we going to focus more on one character? Like, I'm not quite sure where it's going to go. There's a lot of possibilities. So
there also does need to be an extra scene, and you touched on this, Morgan. I hope it ends with Tyler because it seems like the story they want to focus more of the story on Tyler and Val than like the original characters. And I mean, I get that, but you can't really take the original characters away because that's who made Monsters Inc. so popular. I really hope there is a scene, like maybe even an end credit scene where Sully finally goes through Boo's door and you get to see Boo as older Boo. Maybe not like an adult, but like maybe like Connor's age or, they're older than, because Boo was how old in the original Monsters?
Probably like 4, 3.
Really? Because she was barely talking. So I would say like 2.
2 or 3.
2? Oh, okay.
Because she was barely talking. I mean,
I'm not a parent. I have no reference for milestones like this.
But if we get to see like 7 or 8-year-old Boo, just a little bit older, and that'd be. And it doesn't have to even be a long scene. It could just be him walking through the door, seeing her, seeing their reaction, and then they can end it right there.
Yeah.
I mean, what would be really nice is to get that, kitty, that would make my heart melt a little bit.
Yeah. I actually changed my mind. I think I want so that there is potential for another season. If they end this season with Mike starting to build the door, that would be so cute or so perfect, I feel like. But it does shock me that they focus so much on Mike and Sully this episode because they said originally they're not going to be the main characters. They're going to be like side appearances. And I felt like they were just as much as part of the episode as Tyler was. And so I do wonder where they're going to go with this. And I feel like they have had more parts in the series than I originally expected them to. Like, I kind of expected them to be in the first episode. But after that, I didn't really expect to see them as much as we've seen them. I thought it would be more about Tyler, but
it's kind of tough to do that, though. I mean, that's like having a Toy Story show and introducing new toys, and then just having like Woody and Buzz and Jesse and Bullseye and the gang kind of like be like the behind the scenes back characters. No one's gonna watch a Toy Story show if Woody and Buzz and the original gang aren't the focal point of the show. Like you have to have those characters in there.
Don't get me wrong. I love Sully. Sully is my man. I love him with a burning passion. So I am happy anytime I get to see Sully. However, I did mention this before, and I haven't seen as much in this episode, but I feel like there is something off about Sully. I don't know if you guys think that too, but like just his animated style. Like, I feel like his shoulders are higher and he looks more hunched.
Well, I mean, they are getting older.
But no, because if
No,
it's
'cause
right
they're
after
supposed to be
Monsters
exactly
Inc.
no,
where-
I guess
yeah.
so. Yeah,
If it's right after Monsters Inc. and before they built the door, then his animation
it shouldn't be any different.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe with the technology, it's changed a little bit since, because I mean,
Yeah.
when did Monsters Inc. come out? 2003.
2001.
Yeah, so technology definitely has changed. So maybe there's just like a new animation, maybe that they're testing.
Yeah. And I think they fixed it a little bit in this episode. He doesn't seem as hunched as he did. Like, if you go back to the very first episode, you can really see it. Like, his shoulders are way too high compared to where his head is. It's like almost his shoulders are like at his, like, this level of his head. And I was like, that is not Sully. That is not like, but it also could be the voice, because obviously the voice actor has aged. But I don't know. I'm just hoping they give. I really want to see Sully in more of a role.
I get it though, because it's really tough to get these actors, like, you know, like if they did a Toy Story, to get Tim Allen and Tom Hanks to come in and do a Toy Story TV show.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen. It's got to be like a feature-length film, or like it's gonna be a really brief cameo appearance, or they're gonna go out and get different voice actors. And if they do that and get a different voice actor than the original, I mean, I'm sure there's probably people out there who can really do a really good impression, but then you'll eventually pick up on and be like, that's not the same person.
Yeah. Hey, Dan. Thanks for joining us. You always seem to come in like towards the end, but yeah, I'm really interested to see where this goes. I definitely want more of like Val's backstory. I want more of Tyler. I want to learn more about him and why he is the way he is. And I'm not gonna lie, I miss Randall.
Randall was awesome. Randall was always my favorite.
I want to see them go visit Randall and Waterjuice in jail. I think that would be so perfect.
If they did like an Arkham Asylum, but a Monsters Incorporated or a Monsters Inc. world version of that, and like you have like Randall, because he's so like slippery and stuff, like locked up in these like things, so that way he couldn't like more camouflage or anything, you know.
Yeah.
And Waternoose with all of his legs locked up, all like 8 legs locked up, you know, like a jail for them. Where do they keep these monsters in? But it would be such a tough jail, because there's so many different shapes and sizes of these monsters. Some of these monsters are huge. You know, if you got like a skyscraper monster, how are you sticking them in jail?
True.
I'm thinking way outside the box here.
You're going off on a tangent here, but
yeah. All right. I think on that note, final thoughts on the episode.
Loved it.
Easily
the best episode so far.
Are you guys going to continue to watch the series?
Yes.
Same, obviously. You guys already know what's coming up for me. I'll kind of go over it a little bit more. April coming in last. Need to catch up. Yes, understandable. This episode was great. But why don't you guys go ahead and tell the people what you have coming up. Remind them who you are, where they can find you on all the socials. And yeah, go for it.
So yes, on YouTube, it's Our Paradise Falls. Instagram is our.paradise.falls. Facebook, Our Paradise Falls. Tomorrow at 11 a.m., we have our son's mystery box swap with his friend Emma from our channel Heartland Family Adventures. Both kids sent boxes to each other, Disney mystery boxes. So we're really looking forward to that. We're actually really looking forward to seeing her video. Connor's video is awesome. You guys definitely don't want to miss that. After that, we have a lot of the continuation from our May trip. We have a sci-fi diner review coming up. We have Jungle Skipper Canteen coming up. That one, definitely stay tuned for that one, because our food experience there was amazing. And it was our first time eating there. And I think that's pretty much it.
And we have a cast member spotlight video coming soon.
Yes, that is still in the works. You guys definitely don't want to miss that. We interviewed 2 of our friends who are cast members, and they gave us some like little tidbits and secrets of like behind the scenes stuff at Disney World. So definitely look for that on the horizon as well.
Awesome. So again, their channel is linked down below in the description. definitely go check them out. They are some very good friends of mine. Love to have you guys on the show. If you ever want to come back, feel free. I would love to have you guys and Connor back later on in this series. I'm going to be doing every episode. You guys know that every Friday at 8 p.m. I will have it. I'm going to probably not have a video out tomorrow. I just have not. You guys know it's crazy right now. My life's crazy. We are officially 2 weeks until moving. So I will have more moving videos coming out as I get closer and closer to that. I'm gonna like mass pack this weekend. So lots of content from that. I also have a Hershey Park video that is coming out from when I went to Hershey Park with Tim and Katie over at Tim and Katie on YouTube. If you haven't been following my Instagram, it's linked down below. Definitely go give it a follow. And if you're not already subscribed, definitely hit that like and subscribe button because, guys, we got a giveaway that is going to be coming up, and it's going to be Monsters themed because what else am I doing in the month of July? And as always, have a magical day. I'll see you on the next one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.